Hello beautiful people and welcome to the Astrological Forecast for the upcoming week. This will be integrating the after effects of the solar eclipse in Aries, which actually we just experienced because I am recording this on Saturday the 29th. This video will be released on Sunday, so by the time that you're watching this, a lot of things will have changed in the skies. We are going to address that and talk about that. But yeah, of course, if you would like to hear more about this eclipse, then my previous video will cover more of that. However, we're going to be seeing and tapping into what will be happening in the after effects of the eclipse, and then slowly but surely coming out of the eclipse season and then gearing up towards the full moon in Libra, which is not an eclipse, even though 6 months ago we had the new moon in Libra. But yes, we can see that even astrology is breaking pattern, everything is changing, we are stepping into new direction, we are in Aries season, which is all about new beginning, new astrological year, and this is all part of this eclipse that we are experiencing today and the new cycle that we have just begun. But before I go any further, let me just remind everyone that if you guys would like to have a reading with me, I am still running my 25% off seasonal sale, eclipse sale. You can find all the detail on my website, and it is actually going to be ending on April 1st. So there are a few days left. I do not have any availability for April anymore. However, you can already book with me for May. The calendar is on my website, moonlightsoul369.com. And if none of the dates or times is suitable, then just email me directly, and I'm sure we will be able to figure something out. Sorry, my notes are falling off. So yes, and now let me just open the space so we can actually start. I would like to call in on my higher self, my spirit guides, angelic team, ancestors, starseed family, ascended masters, also my astrological team, and all the beings of light that wish to be present for this recording. Thank you for being here. Thank you everyone for watching and being here with me. So as already mentioned, today March 29th. Yes, I am jumping timelines all the time, so I have no clue what day and time we are at. But Saturday the 29th, we just experienced the new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries, the final one in the sign of Aries until 2032. And as we know, the North Node is already in a sign of Pisces, so it's out of sign, kind of. And for me here, it took place in the early hours of this morning. For you, it took place wherever you are in the world, depending on that. And moon still is transiting through the sign of Aries today, and later on today Mercury retrograde will re-enter the sign of Pisces. At the moment Mercury is on the 0 point of Aries. This is where Mercury was for the eclipse, but Mercury is retrograding back into the sign of Pisces later on today, or if you are in Europe and further, then tomorrow, Sunday morning. And right after moving back into the sign of Pisces, Mercury will conjunct Neptune on 29 degrees and 59 minutes of Pisces. This is their second of 3 conjunction, and the final third one will take place in the sign of Aries. Let me just see where exactly. That will be on April 16th. All right, then Sunday the 30th, moon still in the sign of Aries for the big part of it, and we will experience the first ingress of Neptune into the sign of Aries in our lifetime, and for a very long time actually, because Neptune doesn't change signs all that often. Neptune has been a sign of Pisces since 2012, but Neptune hasn't been a sign of Aries, I believe, for the past 160 years or something like that. So this is definitely a big energy, and also being in the sign of Aries, Neptune is the omega, Aries is the alpha, the beginning and the end. So everything is changing. Is 11:11, and I just said that. So the whole meaning, the whole way of perceiving reality, everything is changing. And Neptune will remain in the sign of Aries this time round until October 22nd, and then Neptune will re-enter sign of Pisces for the final time, and then re-enter the sign of Aries again at the end of January 2026, and stay there until 2038. Let me just see. I'm sure that I must have wrote the data somewhere, but I can't find it right now. Oh yeah, Neptune will re-enter the sign of Aries on 26th of January 2026 and stays there until 22nd of May 2038, and then will re-enter again the sign of Aries in October 21st, 2038, and then stays there until March 23rd, 2039, and that's when Neptune will then move into the sign of Taurus. Speaking of which, tomorrow on Sunday, Moon is moving into the sign of Taurus, and this is how we're going to end this week and begin the new week, which will be actually the first week of April, because on Monday, we will experience March 31st. Moon will be moving through the sign of Taurus. And then on Tuesday, we will have April 1st, the Fool's Day. And this is a day when Venus will make her second conjunction, because Venus is retrograde back in a sign of Pisces as of March 27th. And Venus is going to make her second conjunction to North Node, 27 degrees 22 minutes. And Venus already had a conjunction with North Node on February 1st, and her third and a final conjunction with North Node will be on April 23rd. So already in Taurus season. And then on April 1st, we will have Moon moving into the sign of Gemini, all about the choice. Then Tuesday is quiet. Moon is moving through the sign of Gemini, making a conjunction to Jupiter. Then Thursday, April 3rd, Moon will move into the sign of Cancer. And then on Friday the 4th, which is 4/4 portal, we will have a loaded day. For some of you guys, depending where you are in the world, if you are in a mountain zone, Pacific and further, you will experience this still on Thursday the 3rd, but for majority people, I believe this will be happening on 4/4 portal, for me here also in Mexico. Mercury will make his second conjunction to North Node, 27 degrees 17 minutes. Mercury made his first conjunction to North Node on March 1st, and the third and the final one will take place on April 10th, which is right before the full moon in Libra. And on the same day, we'll have Sun making a sextile to Pallas. Saturn is making his sextile to Uranus, 24 degrees 56 minutes. And the last conjunction, I believe, took place in 1988. And I believe the next one is taking place in 2032, I believe, 2032, from what I can remember, what I had a look at the softwares. And then on Friday also, Mars is making his third sextile to Uranus, because we know Mars is now slowly but surely nearing the end of his shadow. Mars will exit his shadow on May 2nd, actually. So Mars is making his third and a final sextile to Uranus. The first one took place on September 30th, 2024. The second one was on January 23rd, 2025. And this is the final one. And shortly after that, Mars will make his third and a final trine to Saturn. Mars in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces. And this is the last one of the three, as I mentioned. The first one took place on 24th of October 2024, and the second one was on February 9th, 2025. So we have a lot of second and third of the same aspect taking place this week. And then Saturday, Moon is moving through the sign of Cancer, last decan, final decan, which is the Pisces decan. And then later on Saturday or Sunday, depending where you are in the world, Moon is moving into a sign of Leo. So we are again changing this pattern. The weeks are going to be ending. And new weeks beginning with Moon in a fixed sign, which is all about we are going in a new direction. It's been initiating, we're really going now. And then on Sunday the 6th, we are going to end the week with Sun making an exact sextile to Jupiter, Sun in Aries, Jupiter in Gemini, 16 degrees 51 minutes. And their last conjunction took place on May 18, 2024 in the sign of Taurus, and their next conjunction will be taking place on June 24th, 2025 in the sign of Cancer, and that will be also happening alongside with the new moon in Cancer, which I believe is happening the following day, June 25th. All right, and also on Sunday the 6th, Mars is making a trine to Venus retrograde in Pisces, 25 degrees 29 minutes, and the last conjunction took place on February 22nd, 2025. So they are due another one next year, because Mars has 2 years orbit. So we have a quite loaded week, considering we had quite quiet weeks in March, especially build up towards the eclipses, but now slowly, surely we'll be coming out of the eclipse season, and things are definitely starting to move forward and speed up. And this is also because, as I've been saying also in my first video for this year, which I believe was the 1/1 portal, the energy I've been tapping into was that the first 3 months of this year were all about shadow work. It was all about introspection, all about tuning in, tapping in, because Mars was retrograde. We entered the year with Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer, which is all about your inner world. Mars still is in the sign of Cancer, so Mars as the ruler of this new Moon Solar Eclipse in Aries is in the sign of Cancer, and as we can see, making all these positive aspects to Neptune and Saturn. They are in Pisces, so this is all about culmination, endings, and also Uranus. Yes, Uranus in Taurus sextile. Mars is actually going to make his final trine to Neptune a bit later. I believe that will be already in the sign of Aries. But anyway, going back to Mars, I checked, and actually the first eclipse, which we had in the sign of Aries on April 20th, 2023, Mars was in the sign of Cancer also. Interesting, right? And then last year, 2024, when we had the eclipse in Aries, because we only had solar eclipses in Aries, there was no full moon lunar eclipse in Aries, only the solar eclipses, so initiation. 2023, it was still in a closing phase with the North Node, because at the at the time, the North Node was still in the sign of Taurus. It didn't move until July 2023. So it was the closing phase. The eclipse was on 29 degrees, right? So there's a culmination. So we were kind of wrapping up. We knew that we were initiated into wrapping up. And 2023 was the year 7, right? Which is the chariot year, which is about the conscious and unconscious. Like we were starting to make the unconscious conscious, so we can wrap up these old cycles, which is happening in a real time now in 2025, the year number 9, which is the year of combination. Saturn, Neptune moving into Aries. We literally have Neptune moving into Aries. Well, if you're watching this on Sunday, then today, on Sunday the 30th, for the first time, and this is a massive shift of energy. This is the first one. First one, Pluto is already in the sign of Aquarius, but we'll have Saturn moving into the sign of Aries in May. Jupiter will be moving into the sign of Cancer in June, and then Uranus will be moving into the sign of Gemini for the first time in July. So these are massive shifts of energies. And going back to Mars, so the 2023 on 29 degrees, there was the initiation of the change, initiation of the ending, right? Then 2024, that one was in a new phase conjunction with the North Node, so very different energy, because Sun conjuncted North Node on 4-4 portal a year ago, and this year 4-4 portal, a loaded day again. And then this year it was again in a new phase conjunction. However, the North Node is already in a sign of Pisces. Again, these endings and new beginnings, and it's an initiation of something that will be evolving over the next 20 years period. Well, not quite, but the next eclipse on the North Node in the sign of Aries will be actually in 2042. I just checked that. And yeah, in 2032 I checked, and Mars will be either in the Earth signs. There's one that Mars will be in the sign of Sagittarius, but Mars will be either in Virgo, Capricorn. I know the final one, it will be Virgo, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Virgo, I think. And then in 2042, 43, we only will have 2 eclipses in Aries. One will be the solar eclipse, one will be the lunar eclipse, and at one of them Mars will be in a sign of Scorpio, and the other one Mars will be in a sign of Aries. So that these are both the signs of Mars rulership, and we know that Mars is how Pluto acts consciously. Why are we even talking about Mars? Because we are literally going to be integrating the after effects of this new moon solar eclipse in Aries, which we're experiencing in a real time when I'm recording this. And the after effects of this eclipse we will be digesting, integrating, and evolving until 2042, 43, 44, because we're talking about the cycle that is correlating with Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. And actually interesting fact that during the last eclipse in the sign of Aries, which will be the solar eclipse, Mars will be in the sign of Aries, so in its rulership, Pluto will be already on 0 degrees of Pisces in 2043. Pluto will have moved into the sign of Pisces for the first time in our lifetime. So this is all a very pivotal time. This is very pivotal time. These energies, these are very pivotal energies. And, like just looking back at the transits, like I said, that I just named, we have the second and the third of the same aspect. So we're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, trying to really choose, like make a decision, like is this still working for us? Is this still serving? Is this how we want to be acting going forward? The Pisces, what holds a meaning? The Aries, what is this new desire, this passion, this initiation of this new direction for you as an individual and us all as a human collective consciousness? Because Saturn, which is the manifested form of everything that came before Saturn, right? And especially Saturn being in Pisces, everything that came before ever. Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn is moving into Aries in like what? Well, we are technically moving into April, so you can say month and a half from now, right? It's not long until Saturn moves into the sign of Aries in May, right? Taurus season, and then Gemini season, all about creating a foundation and making a new choice. And like I said, with this also with the Mercury, so Venus conjuncting North Node for the second time, Mercury conjuncting North Node for the second time, being in a retrograde mode, which is all about the inward momentum. It's taking you, the retrograde energy is always taking you inward to figure it out in your inner world, right? Inner landscape, also being in a sign of Pisces. Pisces is all about water, it's about intuition, but the ruler, Neptune, at this point, you know, Tuesday, April the 1st, and Friday, April the 4th, which is the second conjunction. Tuesday is Venus conjuncting North Node, Friday is Mercury conjuncting North Node. This is happening under influence of the ruler of Pisces, Neptune, being in the sign of Aries already, and Jupiter as the traditional ruler of Pisces, being a sign of Gemini. So what choices are we making? Again, each of us individually and collectively that are going to be supporting us on this trajectory going forward, and it's going to be something different, something new, something we haven't experienced before. Obviously, Mercury is the ruler of Jupiter, Mercury is retrograde. It is something that we are learning to reprogram the old software, the old way of thinking, because it's no longer in alignment, because Uranus is moving into Gemini in July. That's it, like everything we think we know is going to be going through a massive upgrade, right? So this is like literally, especially with Uranus still being a sign of Taurus, we are still being kind of like grounded in this, like, okay, well, stabilizers are still on, this is all helping us to integrate this energy, because if everything happened all at once, just like some people are saying, like they wish everything would just happen tomorrow, we wouldn't be able to handle it energetically, because we are not ready for that huge change to all come at once. Also because of the systems and stuff, like there are no new system in place yet to replace the old system. There are new systems being created, tested, and like being practiced with some people, but they are not on the scale where they could replace the existing systems. So everything is taking time. This is the Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, this is the Pentacles in the tarot. Things take time to manifest, but energetically we can already tap in, tune into this energy. We can already emotionally connect with this energy, feel this experience, even though it's not yet manifest. But like physical manifestation is the final part of the manifesting process. And yeah, with the third sextile between Mars and Uranus, and third trine between Mars and Saturn, and this is all happening on a final decans of the sign. So for Mars, final decan of Cancer, that's Pisces. For Uranus, the final decan of Taurus, that's Capricorn. And for Saturn, the final decan of Pisces, this is Scorpio, right? So these are all energies that are initiating us into stepping into our power, letting go of no longer work, and being the one to decide what it is. Because with the Capricorn energy, Uranus being on the final decan of Taurus, but actually 24 degrees, which is the Pisces degree, we are letting go of believing the belief that there is someone out there in charge of your life, because there isn't. There are people who mirror back to you where you might feel disempowered and fulfilling that role, but there is really no one outside of you that can make the choice for you, because nobody knows how you feel, nobody knows how you think. And also, for anything to take place in your life, you need to give consent, even if it's just on a soul level, but nothing can really happen against our will. So with this sextile Mars to Uranus, this is a first sextile, so Taurus, because Mars is in Cancer, so that's creating the foundation. And Mars to Saturn, Mars being in Cancer, Saturn is in Pisces, this is the first trine, which is the Leo, right? We are creating a new foundation from inside out by becoming conscious creators of our reality, for which we need to change the software, because the software is running on an old program that it's saying, especially now Mercury being back in Pisces, that no, we are the victim of some powers outside of ourselves, and there is everybody else that is in charge of our life, and we just need to suck it up, right? Like, no, this is not how the age of Aquarius is going to, how it's going to manifest. But obviously we always find a proof for whatever we believe. So whatever we believe, that's what we manifest. So this is what if this is what we believe, that somebody else is in charge, then we will find a proof for it. But this is again why Jupiter is in the sign of Gemini. Uranus will move into the sign of Gemini. what truth do you want to choose? Because it doesn't really matter what is the truth. There is no such a thing as truth. It's just a perception and perspective. The only thing that could be considered as the truth are the universal laws, because they're applicable to everyone at all time, no matter what your circumstance, like age, sexual orientation, where you came from. It doesn't matter. It applies to everyone, like the law of attraction and stuff. I'm always losing my voice when I'm recording these videos. So anyway, let's just pay attention over here. So yeah, and then as I said, we're going to wrap the week with the Sun sextile to Jupiter. This is 16 degrees. So for the Sun, this is the Leo decan. For Jupiter, this is the Libra decan. We are balancing the old sense of purpose with the new sense of purpose. We are going to be gearing up soon towards this last Mars-Pluto opposition, right? Mars being back in a sign of Leo by then. This will be on April 26th. So Mars will be back in a sign of Leo, obviously Pluto being a sign of Aquarius. This is Pluto slowly but surely will be preparing for his retrograde, which will begin in May. So that will be the final opposition. And I've been said they only had two. The first one started on 29 degrees of Cancer to Capricorn in November, and then we had another one in January, right? That was the Leo to Aquarius opposition, and now we're gonna have the final one, 26th of April, so not for another 4 weeks. However, Mars is moving forward now, so we're going to start tapping closer and closer to this energy, which is again about balancing where we've been and where are we going, especially now Mars integrating all the after effects of the retrograde in a sign of Cancer, or helping us to, again being on the final decan of Cancer, which is the Pisces. What are we releasing? What are we leaving behind? So all of these aspects, and also Mars trining Venus retrograde in Pisces. Again, Mars being a sign of Cancer, this is the closing trine, yes, because they're going to have a conjunction in 2026. So this is closing trine, it's the harvest. So Venus being in a sign of Pisces, there's an exaltation for Venus, right? And Venus, just like I said, had the second conjunction with North Node, or will have second conjunction to North Node on the April 1st. So we are really going through this process of complete cleanup. So now we just experienced this new Moon Solar Eclipse in Aries, which is like really bringing it home that we really are going into this new direction. There are all these changes happening. The old version of you is not necessarily compatible with the new version of you, so a lot of things don't feel very good anymore. Things that we in the past tolerated, that in the past maybe didn't pay so much attention. It was like, meh, who cares? Everybody's doing it. Everybody's going through this. Doing jobs you don't like then complaining and commiserating and stuff, and then feeding on drama and the news and stuff. And I'm like, anybody has the opportunity to decide for themselves. But for me personally, this doesn't feel good. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not saying my particular job, but I'm saying that the way of living that is no longer in alignment. So what am I feeding myself with? What are the kind of people that I'm interacting with? What are my relational dynamics? What do I believe about myself that attracts these relational dynamics? And how do I feel? Where do I feel is my sense of value and self-worth? This is all this Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, breaking us apart, taking us apart, to recognize what is really meaningful, what really matters, right? Also this Saturn, Mars trining the sextile in Uranus, right? Mars sextile into Uranus, because Mars is in a sign of Cancer. Does this still make me feel safe? Does it make me feel, connected, right? Because you can still does make me feel comfortable, but nobody really grows very far in the comfort zone, not for long anyway. So this is the foundation, and all of these aspects are literally just bringing forth these energies, just like there is this massive explosion. I mean, you can say, because Mars, right? But Mars is in Cancer, so it's an inner explosion. It's an inner explosion with these energies that just came through with this eclipse, which is a portal, of course. With this eclipse in Aries, there is this an inner explosion that we not yet can put a finger on, because it's Aries, so it's all this fire, right? It's like wands, fire of creativity, and we need for some time to pass to integrate this energy, right? To feel into it, tap into it, to see some of it manifested in our reality through relational dynamics or whatever. and then we will see. And then, as we keep going forward with, months, years, whatever, because we know that this is a big cycle we're talking about, that we become more and more conscious, and then things will start changing. When we change, the things around us, people, circumstances, experiences, opportunities, everything keeps changing. So this is the process that we've been in for some time, but it's really, really becoming very present, I feel, in many people's lives right here, right now. That many of us know that the way we've been and the way we lived our lives is just not going to work that way anymore. And we knew that for a while, but now it's really like bringing it home. This eclipse is really bringing it home. So what all these aspects that are happening in this week, this upcoming week, as the after effect of the eclipse, it's like, second conjunction, third whatever for Mars, sextile trine, right? And this is all reminding us, who was I last year in September, last year in October, who was I in, December, January, February, March, who was I, and who am I now, and how what I felt back then feels maybe different now. Maybe, like I said, maybe things that I was willing to tolerate, or things that I thought were okay, maybe now I look at it from this new awareness, from this new sense of who I am, from this new sense of worthiness, or not entitlement, but like, but in a sense, like, I know I deserve better, for example, right? So now it's like, okay, so how am I going to make changes in my life? Because Mercury is the ruler of the South Node, also the ruler of the Jupiter. Jupiter is the, the learning, the expansion, the teacher, right? The consciousness. And in mythology and Greek mythology, Jupiter is Zeus, right? So he's like the god, right? And then you have South Node being a sign of Virgo, ruled by Mercury retrograde, now in Pisces. How much we've learned, through the lived experience, through the gnosis, through embodiment of everything, right? Because Virgo is the spirit embodied that walks the earth, that has the experience, that gathers the data, and discerns and reevaluates and chooses again and again and again, because the evolution keeps going forward. Something that I might have chosen years ago because that was the perfect things for me back then is not the right thing for me anymore, because I outgrown it, right? Because when we were children, we made different choices to the ones we making now. We wanted different things, we desired different things, and it was perfect because that was where we at. But as a humanity, we have to keep going. Like, we cannot stay in kindergarten or first grade forever. And it's, we're all in the different phases, and everything is perfect because there are always new kindergartner and new first graders and whatever. But wherever you at, whatever is the stage of your evolution, we are moving forward. We are going to the next one now. We have to keep going, because with this Aquarian energy, it's all about breaking the pattern, all about this progression, about the evolution. Aquarius is about equality. So it's like bringing this planet and all the inhabitants back into the more of a balanced state, right? Balanced state, because Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, they create the grand air trine, right? And as I mentioned multiple times, by this point, Uranus is going into the sign of Gemini. By that point, well, I don't actually know where Mercury is going to be. I haven't checked. Probably somewhere in Leo or something like that, but Jupiter will be in the sign of Cancer, ruled by Moon. So Jupiter is going to really take us through roller coaster ride with regards to our emotions from June onwards, because we will be feeling everything very profoundly, because Jupiter is going to expand our emotions and our reactivity or ability to respond. So we're going to be learning emotional intelligence, technically, with Jupiter in the sign of Cancer from June onwards. And by this point, Saturn is already in Aries. I mean, not to stay. Obviously, both Neptune, Saturn are going to be moving back into Pisces. So will Uranus move back into the sign of Taurus. But we already get a glimpse. We already get a taste of 2026 and going forward. 2026, once again, is the year of 10. Is the Wheel of Fortune, is the 1 and 0, is the Fool's Journey and the Magician, is the big reset, right? The reset point where you really can decide, and based on the work we all doing right here, right now, like how much we are willing to actually look at the things we didn't want to look at and deal with them, like accept all the aspects of ourselves, the dark and the light, because again, 2023 was the year of 7, so it was the year of the chariot, the conscious and the subconscious, the chariot card, right? It's got the two sphinx, one is white, one is black. So we had to become conscious of the unconscious in order to release, in order to let go of that which no longer resonates, because how would we know what it is if we're unconscious of it, because the subconscious is automatically running our life without us even being aware of it, because the program, the mind, has been programmed in the very early stages of our life. We just absorbed everything in our environment, but we didn't have the discernment. We didn't have the ability to discern, oh, is what my parents saying to me actually good for me? Like, how do I know, when I'm 5 or 3 years old, I look at them and I think they are gods, they know everything, they know the best, or our teachers in school, right? We don't have the ability to discern at that age, because discernment, right, work of 6th house, right? That's like when you start becoming an adult, nothing like that is happening when you're just born or go through your first grade or something. So yeah, we learn because we have to walk the earth. We have to have the experience. That's why even these Pluto Capricorns, yeah, they might be the boss babies. They might have all this wisdom of the worlds within themselves. But if they are 5 or 6 or 7, that they still need your guardianship, because they have not walked this earth long enough in this incarnation, despite of the blueprint. They are perfect, they know what their purpose is, they will figure it out, they'll be just fine. But for right here, right now, if they are under 18 years old, which technically all of them are, yes, all of them are under 18-year-old. 20, yeah, some of them will be 18 this year, but most of them are under 18 years old. They need the guardianship, right? The guardianship of those who already did the Virgo, already walked on this planet long enough to have some experience. Like, yes, you might have all the wisdom of the world, but how long you been on this planet and and what's happening right here, right now, because everything is always changing. So anyway, why we even going into these things, right? Because Mars is in Cancer. Cancer is the history, is the ancestor line, it's all your past identities. But, connected to Pisces and Scorpio, this is always going through a process of metamorphosis and releasing, letting go, dissolving the past ego identities, past versions of ourselves, because the evolution requires it, because between Cancer and Aquarius is an in conjunction. Right? We don't know until we embody. It's just like between, right, Aquarius and Virgo in conjunction. We don't know. We have to have the experience. It's like if you ask a good channel, a good psychic, what's gonna happen, they're not gonna tell you. They're not gonna tell you, because you need to have the experience. You need to go through it. Why ruin the party, right? Why ruin the end of the movie? Like, no. Like, just like when I had my last channeling and I said like, oh yeah, because nothing is yet, things have to happen and blah blah blah. And I said, no, you're already dead and buried something. Like, we know, but we're not gonna tell you. We're not gonna ruin it for you. So I'm like, oh great. So that's what I mean. Anyway, Spirit has a great sense of humor, but going back to Mars as the ruler of this eclipse, and the after effects, Mars still being a sign of Cancer for a while yet, until April 17th, I believe. So yeah, we still got a couple of weeks plus with Mars in the sign of Cancer, integrating the shadows, because Mars is in the shadow again until May 2nd, in his pre-retrograde shadow. So we are still going over things, like with regards to who we were, who we are becoming, how we feel, like how are we connecting with our inner guidance and all the rest of it. And this is part of the process. This is part of this Aries new moon solar eclipse, which is really, really, really like initiating. I mean, it's already been initiated, okay? But it's really bringing it home that we really going ahead. We're really going ahead. It's not just about, okay, initiation. Like, like when you light a lighter, you light it. And sometimes, you can light your, whatever you lighting with it, or in my case, incense. Sometimes, it goes the first time, sometimes it doesn't. But now the incense is burning, your cigarette or whatever is burning, you don't have to try again. It's burning, it's going, it's happening, right? So that's what I mean, so this is that eclipse. Is that eclipse which is like, okay, we tried 2023, 2024, that was the new phase conjunction. It really was like, okay, it's decided, we go in. And now it's 2025 and it's like, yeah, on the bed, on the ashes of the past, this Pisces energy. Mars was in the sign of Pisces 2024 eclipse. but we go in, because there is a lot of wisdom, there is a lot of wisdom from everything that took place on this planet, and now we can use the discernment, South Node in Virgo, and choose, right? I mean, choose. Jupiter is in a sign of Gemini, and once again, once Uranus gets there, that's it. Uranus in Gemini, like everything you think is just going to be completely taken apart. Just like our material experience is being taken apart now with Uranus being in Taurus. Everything we ever believed about what is value, what do we need, how do I feel about myself, how do I feel about other people, and all the rest of it. Like, what does it mean to receive? Even the definition of the feminine, right? Like, feminine is not just a female, right? Feminine is the ability to receive. Just like people who are channelers, like they have to open themselves up to receiving, because if we are in this like masculine mode, then it's like, let's go, let's control, let's have a plan, let's strategize, and both are needed. That's why they need to be in balance. So that's why we see even the battle of sexes in the world right now, like how the feminine and masculine energy, not just necessarily female and male, even though it's part of it, but not just, it's not just restricted to female male body. There is a battle of sexes going on in the world, because everything is out of whack. So that's why we have all these energies, and they say, okay, new cycle necessary. A lot of things are outdated. We need to go beyond this. We need to learn some different ways, and let's just allow everybody to figure it out for themselves, right? Because Aquarius, individuation, authenticity, Pluto, Mars opposition, Leo, Aquarius, 26th of April, right on my birthday, for the third time, right? So this is what's happening, and especially with these third triple aspects that we've been having: Mars and planets, Venus and planets and North Node, and Mercury and planets and North Node. This triple conjunction, sextile, whatever. There are so many aspects that happen in 3 times, not once, not twice, 3 times. So this is really significant. The number 3 is the number of expansion, is the number of co-creation. It's also the number of learning, right? Like 3 of Pentacles, number of learning. And then it is the Empress, right? In the major arcana, which is like the new earth. We're creating the new earth. So yeah, sometimes it takes multiple try to figure it out, but at least we learn something, because usually when you get it right the first time, then you forget, because it was just like, oh, I was lucky or whatever, which could be just you mastered it in a past life, but whatever. So without going all the details and just keep beating about the bush and going in circles over here, like I said already during my solar eclipse interpretation, and I already had a chat with Aaron from Aries Point Project on the video that we released together, like there is a whole new energy we play in here with. And at the same time, because we are in a year 9, we become very, very conscious of the old energy, and a lot of it is no longer feeling good. It doesn't make us feel good, which is why Mars is in Cancer. How do we feel? How do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? How do I feel about this story? How do I feel about this drama that's going on there, here, and everywhere? Because we're all addicted to so many things, right? Including drama, including scrolling, including whatever, shopping. And it doesn't have to be just the addictions that, we identify as addiction, that somebody is hooked on drugs, right? No, we are all addicted to so many things. And I had, I became very, very conscious of it when in preparation for my shamanistic journey, which I experienced when I was experiencing my Pluto square, and also in the after effects of the first eclipse, the Virgo one. There were certain things I needed to eliminate from, like, my diet and stuff, and also like decrease the amount of toxic information I was consuming, and also other, addictive behaviors and stuff. And I realized, like, oh my God, like if you go to the town and you cannot eat certain things, drink certain things, you cannot go shopping just for the fun of it and stuff, then you go, what do we do then? Then what do we go to town for? What do we do then? Because we forgot to just experience life, to be present in a present moment. Everything is connected to consumerism, and everything is always about this next hit of dopamine, whether it's clicking, scrolling, this, always doing something, always brain engaged, right? And this is something which I personally really struggle with, which is this reprogramming the mind, right? Reprogramming the mind, because it's always in the past or in the future, always going, always. And it's like how to be present, right? How to be present. So that's why Mercury is in Pisces. tuning into oneself, right? The meditation, mindfulness, all the rest of it. But anyway, different things will mean different things for different people, because Neptune is now moving into Aries. Aries, new beginning, new direction. So the answers are only within you. Nobody can tell you what they are for you, right? Even me having this little monologue with myself here, I'm not saying this is truth for you. You know, truth is whatever you choose it to be. And it doesn't matter if anybody else agrees with it, if anybody else tells you that, oh yeah, you know, I agree with that, or they say, no, I don't agree. It doesn't matter. What matters is what is your truth that make you feel good? You know, it doesn't matter if it's truth or not truth, or if it's happening or not happening, because we are entering the way of experiencing reality on this planet that is very different from anything we've been experiencing until this point. You don't need evidence for anything, because we are working with the quantum field and with the spirit realms here, because Pluto is already out of Capricorn. We go into Aquarius and Pisces, right? So these things are not visible. These things are beyond senses, beyond the comprehension, right? Comprehension of the logical mind. So that's why to compare ourselves to someone else, it's futile, right? And this is also the Aries in trine with Leo and trine with Sagittarius, right? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, the grand fire trine, which is all about creating this new direction. Sagittarius, ruled by Gemini, currently Gemini, Jupiter, currently in Gemini, Mercury back in Pisces by this point. At the time, well, by the time you're watching this, at the time of me recording this, still in Pisces, still in Aries on 0 point. But yes, Mercury on a 0 point on Aries during the new Moon Solar Eclipse in Aries on 9 degrees, right? Endings and new beginnings. I mean, it's just so fascinating. And I mean, who can make this stuff up? Like, obviously some divine intelligence that understand things that we cannot understand. So here you go, Aquarius and Pisces, right? So anyway, the bottom line, there are a lot of things we are integrating. There are a lot of shifts going on, right? Especially with Neptune moving to sign of Aries. This is going to be a big one. And yeah, even though Neptune is intangible, so you might not be able to, spreading lipstick all over the place. You might not be able to put a finger on it, like what exactly is happening, what exactly just changed. I feel things are moving somewhere different, you know, but you might not be able to identify it because Aries is not yet manifested. Pisces is already dissolved. So Neptune moving into Pisces, Mars being a sign of Cancer, you need to feel it. You need to feel it, intuit it. And yeah, and just allow the invisible to guide you. And this is very hard for most of us, especially because most of us are run on the trauma response mode, right? Like we don't even know it, that we created so many coping mechanisms which were the trauma response, and they served us all our life. They help us to survive, especially the childhood, right? But now we need to become conscious of it, because for many of us, this kind of behavior, this kind of reactiveness became the straitjacket, right? So with all of these energies, we are having the opportunity to identify what is staying, what is going. We feel we already going, what is coming with, what are we leaving behind, how do we know, how does it make you feel, right? And this is for each person to decide, because nobody else knows how you feel, only you know that. So yeah, and this is how we are reclaiming our inner authority and stepping into our self-empowerment. This is all there in the astrology. So, okay, let's pull some cards, because already 42 minutes of chit chat. Okay, let's see. I'm going to start with the Akashic Tarot from Sandra and Taylor. All the decks that I got here were intuitively chosen. Some of them don't make sense to my logical mind, but the spirit was persistent. So, okay, Akashic Tarot. Let's see what is the energy, and then I'm gonna do the Moonlogy messages as well with regards to this eclipse that we are experiencing today in a real time when I'm recording this. So Akashic Tarot. Okay, what is the energy? What is the energy that we are at the moment processing with this Aries solar eclipse happening in a real time, 2025? Okay, what is this? Reverse. Okay, perfect. Views of the ego. Views of the ego, and this is Four of Roses, which is Four of Cups. Four of Cups. What are we dissatisfied about, right? So this is what I feel is that contrast, that we feel things and then we look at our world outside of ourselves, go, well, this doesn't really feel so right. And then, you know, there are aspects of ourselves that are still like, oh, but, you know, look at it, it feels good, you know, it looks good, right? But with the Four of Cups, it could be the boredom. It could also be like, well, you don't know what's around the corner. Again, it's cups, so that's your emotions. Four of Roses. And then also Four of Cups. The number 4, yeah, the Saturn, and 4 portal. That's the lowliest day of the week. Yeah, Mercury conjunct North Node, Saturn sextile Uranus, Mars sextile Uranus, and Mars trine Saturn. So, okay, views of ego. Reverse, we are trying to heal the ego because ego thinks very differently from the higher self. And then at the bottom we have the King of Forces, but also reverse. So this is the King of Wands. So where do we don't trust, right? When do we don't trust the higher powers? And we have the Wolf, and we have Wolf, that is your intuition, right? Like your primal instinct, right? And then usually, to me, deers or these kind of animals, they are associated with like an emperor energy, because like being your own leader. But we know Wolf can be on his own, it can be in the pack. It really is not bound to one or the other, it can do both. So the King of Forces, yeah, Forces being the King of Wands, so that's the fire. King of Wands is Aries, yes. And then we have the sky behind, all purple, trusting the guidance from within. You have the instinct, you have the leadership qualities, and also the water. Oh, and there is a little rabbit there as well, right? Rabbit, the fertility, represents the fertility, the spring. This is where we are. Okay, I'm going to actually look at the description of these cards, because these are quite interesting. I've never seen these cards. I've seen the ego one, Four of Roses. But let's see, Four of Roses. Four of Roses. Let's see what this one wants to say. Okay, Four of Roses, the views of ego, and it was reversed. So, your tolerance of a self-serving person's behavior has come to an end. You have realized that some lack in your own definition of self has attracted this person who is unable to give. You are ready to give to yourself. You are now more aware of your priorities, and you're ready to take an action that honors you. No longer you are willing to be neglected or minimized. You might falter a little bit, but be strong and take the steps to put this person behind you. During this time, whenever your ego causes you to feel lack in your life, say thank you for the reminder to turn to your eternal truth in that moment. Say to yourself, abundance is the condition of my life. Feel yourself filled with the love and power that are inexhaustible. It is only when you treat yourself better than you declare to the universe that you deserve better. Okay, so no more looking outside of yourself, right? We say no to things that no longer feel good. Yeah, the 4, the creating stability for the next things to happen, right? To look at the situation, like looking at the 4 of Cups, like look at the situation that took place, even the people that taught us lessons, the people that didn't make us feel any good, about ourselves or certain situation, to look at them with gratitude, because they help us to realize through contrast, through experience something that didn't make us feel good, to help us realize that actually, yeah, this doesn't feel good. I wasn't even aware until you kept reminding me with your behavior or treatment or whatever that I deserve better than that. So I feel this might be a person in your life, but I feel that this is particularly this energy that we are interacting with, that again more and more are aware that no, I don't want to be this way anymore, or live this way anymore, or be treated this way anymore. So it's like literally this Aries thing, Aries eclipse is bringing it home that, yeah, we're really going in a new direction. What holds a meaning? What holds a value? What are you taking with? What are you leaving behind? So because we've outgrown the old way of being, even since 2023, the 29-degree eclipse, you're not the same person you were back then. Pluto is now in a sign of Aquarius. So a lot of us are becoming very conscious of what is no longer in resonance, right? The Aquarius resonance. Okay, and let's see about these forces. the forces. Okay, the King of Forces, there's this guy. It was also reversed. So let's see what the King of Forces. This card's reversal represents a time of depleted forces, inertia, or scattered energy. It could indicate a divorce or separation, or for the King of Forces career-wise, there might be the loss of a position for someone in an industry natural to the King of Forces. This card reverse could also indicate a man with disruptive energy. He may be out of balance in his life, which imbalances you as well. Sometimes there are obvious signs of negativity such as anger, hostility, or even an abiding depression. Other times the vibrations might be subtle and hard to recognize, but he is likely to be selfish and self-absorbed. Be conscious and aware, for he could be very charming on the surface yet manipulative underneath. If this card indicates a potential love interest or business partner, take your time in assessing the true vibrations he's sending out. He may just need time to right himself, but you may also need to move on. Yeah. So if this card was upright, it would be someone with a powerful and positive energy, comes with good intentions, gentleness and honesty, support. Okay, so this again, I feel, because King is like the embodiment of the suit, right? And King of Wands is the fire, right? So it's the fire of creativity. So I feel this again because yes, it could be about someone outside of you that is helping you to understand something, but this is, everything is about you. You are the creator of your life, creator of your universe. So what is this trying to teach me? Where maybe we are investing too much energy into project or things that are depleting us and not making us happy, because with the Aquarius in opposition Leo, is this my authentic expression? Is it something that makes me feel inspired to get out of the bed and stuff? So again, just like with this, the relational dynamic, how do we feel? This is with the Wands, it's like, what is the fire? Is there a fire there? Because this is the water and the fire. How do I feel about this situation? Does it make me go forward or not? So yeah, it could be shown by people in your environment, but everybody is just there to teach you about yourself, whether through contrast or through guidance, being the teacher in a less disruptive way. But yeah, being the king of Wands reversed, I feel, is the lack of inspiration. It's again with the Four of Cups, like lack of boredom, but that one was reversed. The Four of Cups was reversed. So normally Four of Cups is looked at like a not so good card, even though I don't like polarizing things, but it's looked at like boredom, whatever. But that one was reversed. So like we are like, I'm done with this, okay, because I don't feel very motivated. I don't feel like there is much juice going on and stuff, so things have to change. So anyway, so this is the card for that, the Akashic record. We are all becoming aware because of how we feel, what is and what isn't in alignment, and it's up to us to take the charge to make the change, because yeah, the Aries quality, like the Emperor, new beginnings, new direction. And now we see the messages from the moon, the moonology messages with regards to this lunation. Moonology messages, and I might not use all the decks, I'll see. I have quite a few decks ready here, but I don't want to make this too long. Okay, moonology message from the eclipse, if there is one, for right here, right now, today, the day of the eclipse. What is that? Okay. Accept responsibility, the moon's reflection. Okay, again, up to you, and this looks like a Gemini, it's like a Jupiter. What did we learn? Right? And it's all that yellow, which is the solar plexus. What did you learn about yourself, who you are and who you want to become? Do we have the courage to move forward? So I really feel with the reflection, like have to really face ourselves, really take responsibility. And then at the bottom, process your feelings, howl at the moon. Perfect. Here we go. So this is again, like very Cancerian, very Cancerian, like having to look within, like the retrograde. Mars is now no longer retrograde, but Mercury is retrograde, Venus is retrograde. Venus and Mars are having trine at the end of the week, so it's already active. So yeah, and here we have again two, right? The different aspects of our soul. Howl at the moon, process your feelings. So a lot of feelings coming to the surface, especially as Mars, the ruler of the eclipse, is in Cancer, and having opportunity to accept responsibility, reflect. And if you want to change something, you are the one that can change it. Nobody else can. And yeah, again, your emotions. So this is really the Mars in Cancer, both of these. You are the only one can change it, and you know based on how it makes you feel, right? And look at all the red, the red, the base chakra, creating the new foundation to feel strong, right? The yellow, the strong, the solar plexus to create something new version of yourself, the moon, your identity, your sense of self, and also emotional stability, emotional maturation. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. All right, what else do we choose? Let's do the portal, the oracle of portals, because obviously we are still in a portal of this eclipse. We will be in eclipse season technically until the next lunation, at least the build up to it, the full moon in Libra, which is not an eclipse, even though the new moon in Libra was an eclipse, but we have interesting things going on with the astrology here. So portal, what is the portal message? Portal for the new moon solar eclipse, which we experience now, and the after effects. Okay, 2 cards, 3 cards. All right, interesting. Awake, other world, and mastery. Perfect. We are becoming awake, number 18, number 9. This year we are becoming aware, like waking up. Look, wakey, 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 right? Becoming aware of what's going on, what needs to come to the completion. Things are ending, things are closing, the sun is shining, new beginning, being reborn, right? The other world, this is 21. 21 is also the world card in a tarot, the culmination, becoming aware that we are not alone. There is much more than we can see and perceive. Mastery, this is number 22, which is the master number frequency. Number 4, again, 22 are together number 4, even though we don't simplify master number frequencies. But yeah, to stand up for yourself, self-mastery, mastering who you really are. Yeah. Even though this person looks a little bit like me, no? And celebration, again, number 4, celebration. So the cosmos is celebrating because we are moving forward, we are moving forward. We're going to tackle what we need to tackle. We are becoming aware, and most and foremost, we are becoming aware of the invisible worlds. There is much more than we can comprehend and perceive at the moment. And yeah, this year, the year number 9, and also this is number 3, the co-creation, collaboration, expansion of the consciousness. But I do want to read this mastery card because it looks a little bit not so positive to me, with the guy with the sword. I don't know, but it's interesting that it's very similar, the archway and the light behind it. So yeah, I think the other 3 cards are very self-explanatory, but I do want to read about this 22 because I'm not quite sure why the guy looks a little bit mean to me. 22, let's see. Okay. This moment is a threshold of great power as you are entering a place of mastery in a particular area. If you're suffering or amid a daunting challenge, this experience is like a rite of passage. Once you are on the other side of it, you will be wiser, more confident, and more comfortable in your skin. If you're asking about a significant life change, this card is arriving to assure you that you will go into this new phase with deeper levels of understanding and expertise. You have to let go or evolve beyond many of the patterns and habits that pose problems for you in the past, and your future experience will be easier, more graceful, and more enjoyable. Learning things the hard way gets a bad rap, yet it's often the best and sometimes the only way to learn. So if you hold in any judgment towards yourself for mistakes you made in a recent distant past, or if you try something because or if you won't try something because you're afraid you'll do it wrong, remember the people who make the most mistakes also make the most breakthroughs. The School of Hard Knocks is a formidable alma mater indeed. This card may also be here to remind you to stay the course and apply yourself. If you genuinely care about something, stay with it. There are ups and downs to any endeavor, and it's natural for enthusiasm to wax and wane. But by stepping up hard, working hard, and working smart, you will get ahead. Self-care is about more than sweet treats and sea salt bath. It's also about lovingly exercising the self-discipline you need to fulfill your heart's desire. This isn't the time for retreat. It's a time for forward and upward momentum in one or more life areas. And you're already in motion. Stay with it and honor your destiny as a master of life. No matter what your present experience, the message here is that you are leveling up in one or more significant ways. Claim your empowerment, show up for yourself, and get ready to wear your wisdom like a badge of honor. Right? So this is technically similar message that was coming through. Yeah, we are no longer kindergartens. We need to go further. So the cosmos is celebrating that we are becoming aware. There is much more beyond our comprehension that is there to be manifest, and we are mastering our experience. Perfect. Okay, that's cool. And yeah, that's really connected with that, you know, accepting responsibility and becoming aware of your feelings. So you can become the king of wands, the creator of your life, you know. And with the Four of Roses, use the things that don't feel good to help you to understand what does, you know. So seeing it as a bad thing, see it as a good thing, because the contrast. Okay, this is a vision of the soul. I'm just gonna pull quick. What is the vision of the soul with regards to the eclipse, please, Spirit? Vision of the soul. This is also a portal deck. Heart chakra, perfect. Opening of the heart chakra. Very good. And at the bottom we have soul star chakra. Soul star chakra. So that's interesting. The heart connects you to everything, right? This is also reminds me of this, the other world, right? Your heart is a portal. Your heart is a portal. It's a portal that creates, that is also the bridge between the lower chakras and higher chakras. So when the heart is open and active, it connects you to everything. The soul star chakra, that's the one that is highest up. Soul star chakra, right? Connects you to everything. So that's what's happening. This is what's getting activated, right? Especially because, yes, Mars is in a sign of Cancer. It's a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings. So our heart is coming online to take us beyond, to connect us to all that is. And yeah, and that creates a new pathways, you know, this, you know, like what you call it, these things, you know, like Nautilus shell, the continuous evolution. Yeah, this is beautiful card, number 11. So everything is exactly as it should be. And again, number 4, we're creating a new foundation. Number 4, new structure of reality that is heart-centered. That's the Aquarian age in opposition with Leon, a high vibration, heart-centered consciousness to take you beyond yourself, beyond just the ego identity, connected to all there is. And okay, this is a deck which was a surprise to me, because I wanted to use a different deck, but Spirit was like, no, you use this deck. So let's see, this is the Sacred Forest. I thought, isn't this better for Taurus season? But Spirit was like, no, we're using it now. So okay, let's see what a card wants to come through. What is the message? So Sacred Forest, what is the message for the new Moon Solar Eclipse in Aries? Because we are on planet Earth after all, right? We are Earth child at the moment, even though most of us are not from here, but at the moment we are earthbound. So let's see. Okay, and it was 1:55, so 11:55. So yeah, that's the 12. Co-creation, yeah, we are co-creating with and on Mother Earth. So let's see, what is the message for this Aries eclipse and after effects, integration, and the new cycle beginning, please, Spirit. Oh, okay, card. Wow. Aspen spirit, courage, yeah, creating new kingdom, heaven on earth, right? We have the beautiful butterflies, which is all about metamorphosis. They are kind of like third eye chakra color. And yeah, again, the sun, again, you know, sun is shining just like behind this guy. Where are the cards? Right? Here, coming awake, the guy, self-mastery, right? And again here, you know, very similar theme. New kingdom on earth. You don't need to die to go to kingdom of heaven. No, you create it right here, right now. And at the bottom is eagle spirit, freedom, Pegasus. Next year is the year of the horse, right? Right, perfect. Creating the kingdom on earth, the heaven on earth, right? Aspen spirit, courage, having the courage to create whatever you want to create, your own kingdom. And yeah, looking at things from the higher perspective. The year of change. This is number 13. Oh my God, that's another 4. Number 3, this is number 3, the co-creation with the spirit. Number 13. 13 also in the tarot is the death card, which is about death and rebirth. It's beautiful cards, right? Okay, let's see, because I don't use this deck so often. So let's see what this deck wants to say, because it really wanted to speak. So Aspen Spirit, this one, the courage. In the forest, okay. If the Aspen Spirit card has shown up in your life today, it brings a message of courage, protection, community, and the ability to face and overcome obstacles in life. Know that you are protected and you are safe. You are ready to step forward with courage and grace, no matter what seems to be blocking your way. The Aspen's network of roots is a sign that you should be open to support from others. Combine your efforts with like-minded individuals. You don't need to do it all alone. This may be a good time to bond with people over creative projects or a community endeavor. In Celtic tradition, the aspen was associated with community, endurance, and protection. The Celts chose the wood of the aspen tree to make their battle shields, to protect them from spiritual as well as physical harm. It sheltered the soul from its deepest fears. Aspen was thought to be the teacher of fearlessness and carried a message of strength in facing the unknown. The spirit of the aspen says the energy of your inner spiritual warrior is ready to step forward to face any challenges and or blockages in life. Be willing to accept help. Be fearless. Yeah, perfect. That is very in alignment with everything else that came through. Okay, and the eagle spirit, this one. The card indicates that it is time to break free and let your spirit fly. Be daring as you go beyond predictable behavior. Fling your arms up to the heavens in joy. The card can also appear when you have let life or others restrict your freedom. Recognizing this is the first step to reclaiming your power. Don't allow yourself to be trapped by convention or the expectations of others. The truth is that you aren't here on this earth to be ordinary, but to step beyond limitations and self-imposed boundaries. You have the ability to choose your life on your terms. Perhaps you aren't always free to create the exact circumstances of your life, but you certainly able to decide what meaning to give to these situations. Select meanings that empower you, for this is the time to break free. Hold the intent that boundless freedom surges through you, and so it shall. The spirit of the eagle said, this is the time to express yourself. Don't hold back. Choose life on your terms. Don't be trapped by the expectations of others. Yeah, it's the same messages. Same messages. Right? Be breaking free. Be going through the process of metamorphosis. Be brave and courageous to create new foundation. Let go of the old versions of ourselves. This is all to do with this Aquarius, Leo, the authenticity, self-expression, Jupiter being in Gemini, making a different choice with regards to how we see things, identify things, and how we connect with others, right? Because Aquarius, communities, networks of people that working on, something that's good for all, right? Aquarius, very humanitarian. Okay, and let's close with the major arcana. I forgot to pull major arcana for the new Moon Solar Eclipse in Aries, so let's pull card now. Closing message, please, Spirit, from major arcana. Aries, new Moon Solar Eclipse 2025, the final one in this cycle. Okay, we have a death, perfect. Death and rebirth, yes, we already had the number 13. Death and rebirth, here it is. The only thing standing is the child, the purity and innocence of the child, the rebirth. Yeah, we had a lot of sun on this card, which is all about the rebirth. Oh, and this is a card. Wow, there is a card winking at me from the portal deck, the peace. Again, number 4, this card came before, the peace. Finding the peace within. So yeah, here we've got the death and the justice, the balancing of the scales, yeah. Having the opportunity to free yourself, the nice, free yourself, and this is again number 11, free yourself from the old contracts, yeah, to create the foundation of the new, balancing of the karma. Saturn is ending Pisces, Neptune is ending Pisces. There is an opportunity to step into different direction, balancing the karma, letting it go, burning through it, that's it. And underneath that is Tower, yeah, because if we don't, we'll be pushed. Hermit, in the year of Hermit, look within, to let go of the things that we bound to, that are no longer helping us grow, and to cultivate strength, because it's the judgment, the call to step into your purpose, the Pluto card, because the old world is ending, and this is what's taking us to the age of Aquarius, right? Creating the heaven on earth, bringing the spirit into form. Also, the Pleiadian sisters, a lot of healing going on the planet. Perfect, I'll leave it with that. I like this. All right, but the bottom line, death. A lot of things are ending. We are going through the process of metamorphosis, to create a new structure and set ourselves free. Yep. Okay, perfect. 109. I'm gonna finish with that. Let me just close this space because I forgot again the time before. I'm so absent-minded now, especially with the Mercury retrograde. But yeah, let's just close the space. I would like to thank my higher self, spirit guides, ascended masters, angels, my starseed family, also ancestors, all the beings of light that were present, all the cards, all the messages from the cards, the moon, and everybody that helped with this co-creation. Thank you everyone for being here. Once again, last reminder, if you would like to book a reading with me, the offer is on until April 1st, midnight Pacific, daytime saving, I believe it is now. And if you would like to connect, if, like I said again, the times or dates are not suitable, then reach out to me, email me, and we can figure something out. And best of luck with all these energies we are integrating at the moment. Be easy on yourself. Have a compassion for yourself and others, because there is a lot happening. And with Neptune moving to sign of Aries, brand new energy that we're dealing with over here. So much love to everyone. Have a great week ahead, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.